Welcome to the first installment of Hacienda Video Magazine. This is going to be a series of videos where we look into what it's like living, working, and playing in Hacienda. And in this first episode, we're going to look into how the arches came to be. We're here today with Nelson Fiallo, who's the city manager of Pleasanton, California. How has the relationship of Hacienda and Pleasanton maybe evolved or changed over the years?
The interesting thing about the way the area was developed is the developers, led by Joe Callahan and Prudential, as a requirement by the city, laid all the infrastructure in place in advance of most of the major development. So if you were to drive around this community in the 80s, especially where the Hacienda is located, you'd see large boulevards, empty roadways with lots of beautiful landscaping and the arches, and not a whole lot of development underway, just a smattering. And you know, that's a credit to the way the city and investors approach this development.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So now, okay, so what's the deal with these arches? Because that you can't go in or out of Hacienda without noticing the arches. They're at every intersection.
Sure. Well, you know, what does Hacienda mean, right? In Spanish, it's home, right?
Okay.
And it's a nod to the planners of the day, making sure that there's a strong sense of arrival to the community, to the Haciendas specifically. And you know, if you think of Pleasanton sort of more broadly, you know, as a community, iconic in our town is the Pleasanton Arch. You visit Main Street, that's one of the first things that you see, and we're really proud of it. The community's really exceptionally proud about what it presents and what it conveys.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, in the 70s, late 70s and early 80s, as the Hacienda was developing, you know, I think that it was a nod to visitors that they were arriving in a special place.
Okay.
And in this particular instance, a place that is host to large companies, medium companies, small companies, as well as a community where people live. So it creates a presence and welcomes visitors.
Well, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking your time today, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. It was a nice conversation with Nelson a couple of minutes ago, and he did lend us a little insight into what it is about arches and Pleasanton and Hacienda. We're trying to still find out what the deal is here, what the story is here. We're in downtown Pleasanton right now. There's arches all over the place. And even here, the main sign for Pleasanton itself on Main Street looks like an arch to me. We're gonna talk to Joe Callahan shortly. And he's the gentleman credited with the vision for Hacienda. Maybe we'll learn a little more. And now we're right near one of these structures. You can see it over here to the left of me. This one doesn't have arches. So more questions. What's your name?
Praveen.
Praveen, nice to meet you, Praveen. I'm Arnie. Pleasure. So we're here at Hacienda now. We're doing a little video about these archways and these crossways and the intersections. So what are your thoughts about this architecture and this design here?
Oh yeah, actually it's really beautiful, and I see like it's unique from other cities like nearby Dublin, San Roman.
I like them. I've lived in the area for a while, and I think that's a nice little accentuation point.
Okay. You don't think there's any alien communication going on here?
No.
Extraterrestrials?
No, certainly not.
Okay.
I mean the color and the way it is designed, it's really good. I mean I like it very much.
So all in all, you're in favor of this.
Yes,
You like this?
I like this.
They don't look to me like they have a lot of function. However, they do make them look nice at Christmas.
They look very nice actually. The arches on the four sides are very good, and the signals are pretty long, but it's okay. I think it's a good landmark to say that the arch, my house is near the arch or something like that.
Oh, so they help you find your way home.
Exactly, it's a kind of landmark, and it looks beautiful too, the four sides.
Is the making them nice at Christmas, does that outweigh the lack of practical value for the rest of the year in your mind?
If you were asking me if they should build them, it would definitely not. But since they're already there, I'm indifferent.
Better to have them than to not have them.
You're better to have them. I like it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Real appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. We're right off of the 580 here on Hacienda Boulevard. And if there was a contest for which one of these arches was the most beautiful, I would have to vote for this one. I just love the way it spans across the road here. The proportions are beautiful. And the way it anchors on either side of the road with the little additional structure there, this one stands out in my mind. So now we're going to go see Joe Callahan. He is one of the authors of these arches we've been talking about all day. Joe's been around here since the very beginning. Let's go and find out how all this got started and came to be. Hi, I'm here to see Joe. Hey, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Good to
How's
see you
everybody?
too. Good.
Good.
We're here now with one of the founders, if not the founder of Hacienda, Joe Callahan. Joe, thanks
How are
for
you?
joining today.
Nice to see you. How you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Good, good.
Let me ask you a little bit about the arches and how those came about, and what was the inspiration behind them, and
Yeah. You know, we had a concept for some decorative things at the intersections, and so we had a couple of big parties, bands, etc., trying to get, you know, both major users and brokers with tenants out here. And, you know, it was amazing how many people couldn't find it. And, you know, say, God, you know, it's just 580 to Hop Yard Road, come south, you know, we got a bunch of trailers out at what is now, you know, the arches by Hop Yard and and Stone Ridge. And, you know, they weren't finding us. So we engaged a gentleman by the name of Roger Mackerlin. And we said, hey, you know, we got an identity issue here.
Yeah.
And, you know, we need some sort of a funiculare here that will get people to understand where we are. And we want to do one at Stone Ridge and Hop Yard. We want to do one at Hacienda and Stone Ridge, and in the future when we get the interchange done on 580, which at that point wasn't even approved by the feds or the state, we want to do one up there. He showed us a bunch of space frames with a variety of finishes, and we said, wow, you know, we need a symbol. So you see that arch.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd already picked the name Hacienda, and so, you know, he created that, what you see as those arches out there, and we built the Stone Ridge and Hop Yard one pretty quickly, and followed it with the one in the center of the park, and then years later when we opened the Hacienda Interchange in '88, we had that one up there. Right out of the box, we had people talking about them, and people we'd been trying to get out here came out here just to see them. So, you know, they're very expensive, and there was a lot of chatter in our group about whether it made any sense or not. But, you know, I think it's been a lasting, you know, statement that's helped market the project.
yeah. I mean, when we were out talking with folks, they like them.
Yeah, people like them. I mean, it's funny. People in the community don't have anything to do with the project like them.
Yeah.
So, you know, what the heck.
So it sounds like there was a lot of planning in those early stages at Hacienda. There was a lot of thought given to the area,
Right.
and how to set things up here. And it feels like to some extent that the people are benefiting from that now. That the city of Pleasanton is
Well, the
better for
the city
this.
of Pleasanton has benefited financially immensely.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, from the standpoint that you had 6,000 jobs in Pleasanton in 1980, and you had a city that was in the lower 5 or 10% of per capita revenue,
Right.
to one that's in the upper 5 or 10%, upper 10% in
Right.
the region, you know, that's a huge difference, and it's enabled them to have one of the better school systems
Yeah.
in the Northern California area. We have probably one of the more improved parkland per resident than any other city. We've got great, athletic programs, community-driven, city-managed athletic programs. All of those things have come as a result of the fact that the city has the operating capital to run.
Right.
Without the project, not just ours, but the Stone Ridge Mall
Sure.
and the other developments that were part of that big assessment district area, that's made it possible. Without that, they wouldn't have any of those things.
Right. Well, thank you
Thanks,
again
I
very much. Really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
So what did we learn today? Well, Pleasanton is certainly a pleasant place. It lives up to its name. And anywhere you find people working and playing and carrying on with their day-to-day, there's some necessary ingredients. It takes some planning, it takes participation, and it takes some passion. And I think all those ingredients are alive and well under the arches here in Hacienda. Thank you for watching.